My bad if I got a little too close. I'm about to move.
Oh, you're fine.
No,
Thank you.
no problem.
Hey, Minna, you could probably mute your, there you go. Okay, getting close to maximum capacity here. Got about 25 people. I did get a email from a couple of people today. They weren't feeling good, and which is always unfortunate. I know class and life can be heavy and crazy, so it's okay to take some personal time for a little health and wellness. So if anybody ever feels like that, again, just send me an email. Let me know how you're feeling. And if you need to miss class, completely understand. Luckily for today, today is going to be a short class because I feel like that the class would benefit more from some work time than us kind of sitting here and sort of forcing, actual active time in the class. So what we're going to do today is we're going to recap on what we discussed on Monday. I'm going to recap the assignment, and I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to kind of give an update if they need to give an update on where they're at. And we're going to just do a quick little breakout session, maybe about 10-15 minute breakout session. And then we're going to end the class early so you have some personal work time because, again, this assignment is pretty lofty. There's quite a bit to get in it, but I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be able to have active and productive work or class time to ask questions and to interact with everybody, but also to kind of balance out. It's not necessary to force active class time when we can be more productive outside of class. Okay? Does that work? All right, cool. And Carl has tried to, perk me up with my favorite tool album. So a little bit of tool. This means nothing to the class, guys. In a way, it kind of does, but I'm not going to get into it. Tools album designer from Opiate and also Undertow, and then another one. I met him quite a few years ago, Cam DeLeon. Really cool guy, super talented, amazing illustrator. Means nothing to the class. All right, can everybody see my screen over here? Research and strategy, yeah? Okay, good. Now I'll give 10 points to anybody that knows this famous home in Illinois. I'll tell you, it's in Illinois. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one. It's called the Farnsworth home. And the Farnsworth home was designed on this large property for Miss Farnsworth, and I believe she was a doctor. I'd have to look it up. I don't recall what her background is off the top of my head. I know she's a real smart and successful person. And she hired the architect to design a quiet retreat on her property. That deck looks real safe. It actually is. It's very safe, Emily. It's all what they call post and beam. And the reason why it's a raised house is because the property had certain flooding issues every now and then. So the architect did a raised home here, and the approach to this very classic mid-century style home is that it's a small house. I think it's only like 1,200 square feet, but anywhere you're at inside the home, you have complete visibility to the outside, which is a very common design philosophy in mid-century, like post-mid-century architecture. So a lot of homes, especially out here in California, in those mid-century style homes, approach that type of architecture with that. So it's a very indoor-outdoor type of philosophy. But Neutra also used to do quite a bit of it in his designs. So little architecture history here. Okay, we're going to kind of go through this a bit, recap on what the lecture was, and also some of the previous lectures. Again, I'm already recording, I remembered. We're not necessarily going to take a break today because the class is going to end early. Again, participation in cameras give you, excuse me one second, some extra credit. The chat is for comments, questions, and shares. Oh, you used to live near that in Never, yeah, Marie. Yeah, it's a really famous home out there in Illinois. So if you ever go back, you can tour it. It's not even expensive to tour the home. So, also, again, we're going to just recap things. And if you have not finished the creative questionnaire, you need to finish it, please, this week and submit it. I met with Bradford yesterday, and he answered a lot of questions that I'm gonna kind of recap on right now. One is he showed me where to find your submissions for the assignment, so that was great. And then also, I believe it was Menno. Was it you that had requested sort of the calendar updates? Because you said you use the calendar quite often. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So if you noticed, I did update the calendar with the assignments, with the current assignments, the creative questionnaire, and also this research and strategy. So if you notice, if you go on the calendar, those are posted in the calendar.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for that. So some of the things I had talked about with Bradford was I had asked him, of course, about the assignment and whenever you post them, where that comes up. So I see it, I'm able to go through it, and I'm going to be doing that here this week. I'm going to be kind of reading through it and giving you any additional feedback, also grading. Bradford does do things a little bit different. He told me that he waits and just grades everything at the end of the project. I don't really like to do that personally. I like to give active feedback and active grading. I know personally in my prior experience of teaching, most students prefer that. They'd rather kind of get active grading per project once it's or assignment once it's submitted. So I'm going to kind of stick to that particular process. For me, I feel like that most students appreciate that. So I'm gonna try to stick to that. Okay. The next thing I asked him was the logo thing. So there was, we had quite a bit of discussion around, the corporate brand and website that you selected. And everybody had asked, like, hey, are we going to redesign the logo? And I said, no, we're not going to redesign it. Bradford confirmed that. No, you're not going to redesign it. But he did bring up one thing that I agree on. If you feel like that the logo is so horrendous and it makes you vomit every time you look at it, it's just nauseating, then what you can do is you can just replace it with just a text version. And I remember I did that too back in the day whenever I was teaching these previous classes. So what I would give an option of is kind of like this website right here in this mobile app here. You see how it's just a type treatment and the font matches the rest of the fonts that the student selected. So that's what I recommend. Maybe just select your headline font and just create a type version of it and use that to replace the logo if you feel like that just makes you nauseous every time you look at it. So how's that? Does that work? Yeah? Okay, cool. I think that works. Don't spend a lot of time on it, okay? Please don't. But just create kind of a type version that matches the rest of your design. So again, I think this is a great example here where it says polka dot It says polka dot, and then of course she has this person has 2 dots on the outside of it. Don't even worry about that. Just make it a typed version. Just
Are you
boom.
sharing your screen? I still see the slide that says outline on it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you see those mobile designs right there?
Oh yeah, okay. I guess I wasn't looking in the right place.
Yeah. So you see that
Oh,
those designs, and that's a previous student. So what I was
gotcha.
talking about is you notice how it says polka dot up at the top of the mobile design, and
Yeah, it's just small. Can you make it
yeah,
bigger
it's
by
real
any
small,
chance?
something for you. But if you, I gave you access to the lecture. So if you open up the lecture and you kind of look at it, you'll see a closer view of what I'm talking about. Just create a type version of what's the name of your company, Carolyn?
It's an accounting firm, so it's the person's name. And then it just says, I believe it says it's the person's name, then it says an accountancy firm, I believe.
And do they have a logo?
It literally looks like it's his last name, believe it or not, is Flamer. And so it looks like a clip art of like an F that literally probably came out of a book of,
Yeah.
10,000 clip arts from
Right.
1980. So
Okay.
it could use some refining, but
Perfect. So then maybe, you decide like, hey, this little icon or logo mark is just really, really, it's not thoughtful. It's not adding value. So I'm going to use certain words that is a part of a vernacular that I use quite a bit and I try to teach. Value is a big word when you're trying to kind of position your design. So you could go, let's say in this particular situation, Carolyn, if you were to present this to the client, you could say in a way like, hey, based off this redesign, I felt very strong that this logo mark wasn't adding value because it was inconsistent with the rest of the design. So for now, I didn't include it, but let's discuss if you feel like this should be included in the design and create a conversation with your client, but always, utilizing that term value, like everything should add value to the final outcome.
makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Makes sense to everybody? Give me some head nods to the people I can see. Yeah, cool. Okay, great. All right, excellent. Let's see here. Let me just go over here to my notes. Let me make sure. Sorry, 1 second. What else did I discuss? Oh yeah. Again, as a reminder, he's going to fill in for me on February 26th, which is a Wednesday, and he's going to walk through a couple of lectures. And those lectures, as a matter of fact, let me see here. I'll tell you here. So that week, it's week 4, the 24th and the 26th. We're going to be talking about web typography, wireframes, in a hero section. And the assignment, you're going to start with creating persona user flows and wireframes. So what I'll probably end up doing is on Monday, the 24th, I'm going to do some lectures, and then he's going to come in on the Wednesday and do a recap on the lectures, and then start with, the class on getting the assignment started. Okay. And then the other thing I talked to him about was, oh yeah, the components. I just got rid of the components as a part of this. We may bring it back in later on, but I just felt that everybody had enough to tackle. And this one, I felt that we could save for later. So we'll get to that. All right. So let's go through this. We're going to recap. Any questions? No? Good. Okay. We talked about Hillman Curtis. Yes, everything is about moving people to action. We talked about the teams. Yeah. Design process, identifying problems, researching problems, and then trying to create ideate possible solutions, and then evaluate those solutions, creating prototypes, testing and troubleshooting, improve, testing and troubleshooting again, and then launching. And then the advantage of being in our digital world is that even whenever we launch, we can still test, troubleshoot, and improve. And then we can also do the A/B testing, right? We can do that A/B testing before we launch, and then we can continue to do A/B testing even after we launch. We recapped on web design process. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. The 5 steps: discover, plan, design, develop, and optimize. We are in the discovery phase where we're doing our personas and our questionnaires. We're getting into our planning stage next, where we're going to get into sitemaps, user flows, flowcharts, sketches, wireframes. And then next, after that, we're going to get into design, where we're going to do UI kits and also high fidelity mockups. We are not going to develop our concepts in this class. So, and we're not necessarily going to optimize because it's not going to be live. The one thing that I do need to include in this is we are going to be creating, and I'll make notes on this. Let me make a note right now. We are approaching everything with a mobile first philosophy. So you are going to create not only back here in the planning phase and planning, let me write both of those because I need to make sure it's in there. You're not only going to create wireframes, but you're also going to create high fidelity designs for mobile and desktop. And we're always approaching our designs with a mobile first philosophy. Okay, not developing. So we're not going to create website specs. We're not necessarily needing to do any optimizing because we're not developing it. And that was it for that. So any questions? Questions? Thoughts? Boom, boom. No. All right. So our assignment, we know that the project is a corporate website redesign. And the first assignment was a creative questionnaire, which I am asking everybody to submit, please, to get that in so I can get a grade. Because I like to grade based off the assignments and get those grades out there. Next, our current assignment is the research and strategy. So I removed the components. You are going to be doing an existing website audit, and that audit is going to include mobile and desktop. It is going to include multiple pages. It needs to at least do an audit of the pages that you're going to wireframe and design out. So you need to identify those. That needs to include a home page and one detail page. You're going to be doing a competitive analysis, and those are 3 competitors. You're going to be doing mood boards, and those mood boards should include a website mood board, a branding mood board, and if you have anything extra, have a place for miscellaneous. And then finally, you're going to be doing sitemaps. You're going to be doing a sitemap based off of their current website, and then you're going to do a proposed sitemap. So let's jump over to that stuff. I provided a link to this Figma file. Was everybody, I don't know if anybody already clicked on this. I did post this in the assignments. So if for any reason you have any issues kind of getting into this, let me know. But you should be able to just come in here. Same thing as the creative questionnaire. Click on right next to the title, come down and duplicate it for yourself and work from this Figma file. Now I know that there are several students here that do not have any Figma experience. So if you look at Canvas, I recently dropped in the announcements, Figma for Beginners. It's a 4-part course that links to this. It's free. You can learn the basics by designing a social media app in Figma. They'll teach you about the fundamental tools you'll use, how to create wireframes, high fidelity designs, and a prototype. I would not go that far into prototypes yet because I'd rather you spend time on your assignments. Don't get ahead of yourself on trying to dig into things that you don't necessarily need at this point, at least in this class. Now, I don't know if you need to learn prototypes in the other class, but at least in this class, all you need to do is learn how to create wireframes and high fidelity designs. So, and then you don't need to do the basics of developer handoff. So just focus on these creating designs, exploring ideas, and also beginner too when it comes to create designs. So I recommend for anybody that's in this class that needs to learn about Figma, just spend time around beginner 1 and beginner 2. Okay? Cool? Cool.
I'm sorry, where I'm not seeing it again in Canvas.
Sure, it's under announcements. So I posted it in announcements. It's the latest one I posted today. It says Figma for Beginners. It says that everybody should be able to see it. So if for some reason you're not able to view this, Melinda, or anybody else, just send me an email and I'll send you a direct link to it. But Melinda, I think I've already responded to one of your questions like last week, and I think I might have actually sent this to you. Sound good? Good. Okay, cool. All right. Now, let's jump over to our assignment. So what I had put in here, what happened to my desktop screens? Interesting. I either accidentally deleted it or maybe somebody else deleted it. I see somebody else floating in there. Who's in there? Janet, I see you in there. But I had put just at least 3 of these, but like I mentioned, what I'm requesting is that you do at least 2 pages, and those 2 pages are the pages that you're going to redesign. It needs to be at least the home page and 1 detail page. For desktop, yes, Carl.
So for homepage, the current homepage for the website that I'm doing is pretty long.
Okay.
So when we say homepage, you don't necessarily mean just the hero section, right? You mean like whatever's on that first page.
Right. So
Okay.
I don't know what happened. It very well could have been me, but I don't know what happened in here. Let's go to desktop or
I didn't do it. I duplicated it before.
I'm not saying, yeah, I'm not definitely
No.
not saying you did. So I don't know. I don't have it anymore. Yeah, you need to take screenshots, especially if it's long. Take screenshots of all the sections and drop them in here. And yeah, you gotta put them all in that entire home page. You need to put in here to audit it. Because most likely when you start putting that together and then we start having discussions, you start working with your team, we start doing breakout sessions, you're going to audit it and you're going to go, man, like, I don't need all this information based off my personas, right? You will most likely consolidate it and make it more focused based off your audit and your research. Okay.
Cool.
So same thing. So this is actually the mobile version of APX. So I had to do the same thing here, Carl. So in mobile, I just took screenshots of each section and I just dropped them in. So this is the top part. Here's the next section, then the next one, then the next, then the next, then the next. The only thing I didn't include was, the bottom nav. But the bottom nav that's also gone. I don't know what happened. But I didn't take a screenshot of the bottom nav. Or I didn't put it right here. So, but yes, you need to take like screenshots of every part of the homepage and drop them in here. Is that good? That answer your question?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you bet. Okay, so any additional questions for the existing website audit? You're going to be doing desktop, mobile. You're going to be taking screenshots of the navigation, the main nav, secondary nav, the footer nav, and you need to include the desktop and the mobile. And then what you're going to do is on this screen here, or you may have to do multiple ones, you're going to put in here your key learnings around usability, visual design, and content. So this is where you're going to put your audit information in. That's where it'll all sit on this screen. Next, over here. So for everybody that's new, remember your left-hand panel, we've separated things in pages or sections, and we've labeled them. Right there, existing website, you click on the next page, competitive analysis. So this is where you're going to be doing your competitive analysis. There's 3 of them. You're going to do screenshots of, just at least one page, just drop in one page. I recommend you do 1 page for desktop, 1 page for mobile, and then just write up some key learnings based off your competitor. And I know there was a question on Monday. I believe the question was, can the competitor not only be an existing competitor, but maybe a competitor that you're looking to be inspired by? So yeah, absolutely. It can be any type of competitor. The next is mood boards. Here I show just some examples of, just kind of dropping in some screenshots of these websites here, which of course are the websites that I've done, just APX Hockey, Premier Marine, and then also this Minneapolis Glass Company. But yeah, put them in, drop them in here in any format as possible. Just make sure, make them look nice, because these things can be used in your portfolio later on if you're going to use this as a case study. Next is the sitemap. We talked about you need to do a existing. Yes, somebody's definitely been in here. Thank you for whoever redid the screenshot. Yeah, Shaver.
Yeah, I put in the chat. I think it was my bad. When I saw the link in the announcement, I thought it was a template like InDesign. So I started working on it as if it was like just a generic template. I didn't realize it was actually your project. So I was working on the sitemap. So I apologize. It won't happen again.
No, don't even worry about it. You don't need to. I was just like, am I getting old, man? Am I getting senile here? Because I'm like, I know I put that stuff in there. So hey, all good. So let's actually use this as a quick learning tool here. So Shaver, one thing that I can see that you already did was, you're creating these. You're already kind of creating a real sitemap based off your components in your outline. So I'm just going to leave this in here for everybody. Great, no worries, man. People can kind of come in here and they can reuse this. So I think that's wonderful. You see how Shaver's already created rectangles and text boxes that everybody can use. So thank you, Shaver. I think everybody can give you a thank you that they can take this and also be able to reuse it. So you already did some work to help everybody out. So no apologies. Sound good? Yeah. All right. Great. Um, so let's see here. Yeah, so you're going to create, this is an existing, and then what you're going to do is you're going to create a proposed site map. All right. Wonderful. Any questions about site maps? No? Okay. Well, Shaver, actually, let me put you on the spot here. What do you feel like you've learned already? Is this your first time working in Figma?
Yeah, I was watching the beginner video,
Okay.
um, and then I kind of just took a stab at it. But it's a pretty easy interface if you're familiar with InDesign. I think there's a lot of similarities and a lot of things that I could just kind of make educated guesses about.
Yeah.
But the tutorial's super helpful. And yeah, this is all I was doing, which is like making boxes and stuff. I don't know
Right.
anything else. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think where Figma gets really, really complicated is whenever you start coming in here and you start creating components. So it's like if I wanted to select this and I come down here and I start creating components or I start adding auto layouts, that's when Figma starts getting it starts getting to the next level. So for now, unless you're a fast learner and you want to spend the time kind of getting into that stuff, just stick with the basics here. Just dropping in rectangles, right? Kind of dropping in text. I think what you're doing here is fine, Shaver, because it keeps it simple. But excuse me, the next level that you would be getting into is smart components or just components. So when you look at like uh, a lot of the things that would be nah, he didn't put it here. Bradford adds a lot of components to his decks. I'm not showing here, but in these layouts right here, all of his layouts, all of this stuff, like these are all like component slides. Like he's got like flexible components in all of these that I'm able to just kind of drop in content and it auto resizes and it does auto layouts for me. So it's really easy. But you guys don't necessarily have to like go that far out. Again, if you're a really fast learner, then go for it. But getting into those auto layouts and those components can get pretty complicated. So keep it simple for now. Okay, thanks for sharing. All right. So I'm going to pause. Has anybody already started getting into this assignment? Carl, yes, go for it. Melinda, you can go next. Go for it. You first, Carl.
Okay, yes, I started. I'm gonna have to just go back and redo the screenshotting process because I was just doing random screenshots and not capturing the entire home page plus one additional page, but that actually cleared up a lot of my confusion. So I'm glad you went over that. And let's see what else did I started filling out the key learnings.
Good.
And yeah, I learned that. So my website that I'm doing is actually already pretty easy to use.
Good.
It's somewhat responsive, but there are some back end issues that I probably won't be addressing, like the way some of the links appeared and stuff like that on desktop versus mobile.
Yeah.
But I mainly kind of learned that really it's a big visual redesign because they have good content in there and it's already pretty easy to use.
Okay. Good. Caroline, did you have a question about what Carl's talking about?
No, I was just going to share what I had done on the project when it's
Okay,
my turn.
good. Then I'll go with Melinda next then. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you for sharing, Carl.
just quick question clarification. The layout thing right here with the screenshots is the thing that Schaefer was working on. I can't remember these terms. The what?
The
The
site map?
site map. Is that a part of that thing?
No, over here, if you look, these are different pages that you click on to get to the different parts of the assignment. So we have, it's a 4-part assignment. You have the existing website audit, the competitive analysis, the mood board, and then the site map. So because it's a 4-part assignment, we've created different pages here in the
Oh,
Figma file.
okay, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I was just like, where is the stuff? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and you'll get like, I know you might be new to Figma, but you'll get used to how Figma sort of organizes its framework. Again, like, I think Shaver had brought up a good point. Like, if you're familiar with most Adobe products, InDesign, Illustrator, most Adobe products have this type of layout where you have kind of the core functions on the left-hand side and the other like secondary functions on the right, and then you have your workspace in the middle. So it's a pretty similar framework.
basically what I got done was just playing around on Figma with like I don't know, just like dump trucking, just like because I didn't really know what to do with the team board, but I wanted to like be active and like start moving forward on the project.
Yeah.
Uh, I did the questionnaire. I don't know how detailed well I was with the written because I was just so on to like the visual with the Figma board. So I
Okay.
think I was kind of weak on that part.
Sure.
Um, but now I feel like just like the things I kind of dump trucked onto the Figma board will be kind of easy to just put into this more organized layout. And I think that's what is
Uh,
just kind of more my brain is taking a second to like
sure.
connect it all together to just have this new way of like laying it out. But
Mhm.
I feel what's kind of like giving me an issue with the whole just general feel of my direction with any of this is like, like knowing the website itself pretty well in and out, like it's just kind of like, okay, like I guess looking at the competitors will kind of give me a better idea of like kind of something to do that would be fresher.
Mhm.
Um, for the website.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just kind of, I feel like it's almost distracting to look at something that's like, oh God, this is so bad that it's like,
Mhm.
it's really hard for me to like be like, like, how do I
Mhm.
not like erase like what they have, because you don't want, I don't know. I don't know if that's like too
Mhm.
like aggressive to just totally just start all over because it's that bad and not really
Right.
take too much of it
Well,
they
And
have.
and and that's a really good conversation, Melinda. I think what you're bringing up is you're not really going to be able to make that decision yet until you do the website audit, until you do the competitive analysis, until you do your mood boards and you start kind of getting into, your personas. Because after all that information is put together, then you're able to make more informative and realistic decisions based off of all of that. Because try not to get ahead of yourself. I know, most people might be in this class, very visual people. And so it's hard to kind of get past sort of the visual part, but that's why like we have to go through these steps to make informative decisions. Because if you're just basing your decisions on aesthetics, then your client can poke holes at that because it's not informative. It's not based off of research. And you have to go through these discovery processes to be able to make informative decisions.
Yeah, I'm astounded with how nice the layout and all that stuff is. I'm very excited to get to work on the project and
Yeah.
learn more about Figma.
Good, good.
Stickers are fun.
It's, out of literally my entire career of dealing with Adobe, and then back in the day, most people don't know this. There used to be a competitor called Macromedia. Does anybody in this class know Macromedia? Carolyn? Yeah? Okay. So Macromedia made Flash. They also made Freehand. They also made some other ones. And Macromedia ended up being a competitor to Adobe, and then Adobe bought them and then basically shut them down. Talking about a monopoly that they should have been sued. I mean, literally, Adobe should have been sued doing that. But, right, that's what corporations do. Um, so, out of my entire history of dealing with Adobe, Figma is probably one of the best programs that I've ever dealt with in my entire career. It's phenomenal. It's just it's so incredible.
Yeah, it's
Let's
not
see.
too hard. It's not too hard.
No, it's not. Yes, I will never forgive Adobe for killing Flash. Well, Joshua, I might have to correct you on that, my friend. Adobe didn't kill Flash. Don't Steve Jobs killed Flash. So don't like I wouldn't, yeah, I would have to correct you and say I would never forgive Steve Jobs, even though he's already passed, you know. But exactly. Steve Jobs killed Flash when he announced the iPhone. He said that he was not going to support Flash, and he didn't support Flash on the iPhone or any of the iPads. And so that's what really killed Flash. Okay. So yeah, I missed those Flash games. I agree, Ezekiel. Yeah, there were some really fun ones out there. So real quick before Carolyn, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm just going to show real quick. Remember how I said you could take a quick screenshot and just drop it into Figma? So I'm going to show this. Like I'm going to do a quick like screen grab from my Chrome browser. I did a copy. I'm going to just paste it right in. See how easy that was? Remember how I said Command, Control, Shift 4? And then I'm just going to resize it. This is the top portion and just drop it in there. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll to the next section. I'm going to do the same thing. Again, this to me is the easiest way to get through some of these pages. Drop it in. You know, and then I just kind of keep going from there until I'm done. So that's how I do it, just to move fast. All right, let's see here real quick, and then Carolyn, you are next. Can you show how to crop a photo? Yeah, I can. Watch this. There's two ways to do it, Sam. So let me zoom in. There's two ways to do it. Okay, so I got my image, or I got my screenshot. So you see over here on the far right-hand panel, you see where it says fill? Can everybody see that? Might be a little small, but you can click on that and it gives you a pop-up window. And what this window does is it allows you to now crop this image. So they give you four options. You can fill it. It automatically, like, you know, in a situation like this, it automatically fills. Or you can do a fit, which it's already fitting because I did a screenshot. Or you can come here to crop. So now it's telling me the size dimensions. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to crop it. There you go. That's one way to do it. Or instead of going to your side panel where it says fill, you can double click on that image. You see how I double clicked on it and it gave me the same panel to crop. So fill or double click on an image. All right, so yeah, couldn't find the button. That's fine. All right, Carolyn, thank you for being patient. What was your
I'm doing an accounting firm. I don't have too much to share. I just have a general question.
Yeah.
I know the person personally, so I know his personality a little bit. Every year, so I've looked at the competitors' websites, and they're all very bland, very
Yeah.
boring stock photography. They basically all look the same. They just chose different pictures,
Yeah.
words that you can't read. So all of those sites needed help. But this gentleman, David, every year at the end of the year, he sends to his clients a little spiral bound classic car calendar. Like for 30 years, I've gotten them.
Sure.
So since he's a very well established agency, I'm sorry, yeah, a firm, an accounting firm.
Firm.
Is
Yeah.
it okay to have a little bit of flexibility with the photos, like maybe duotones of classic cars to break up
Mm.
the like calculators and rulers and overhead shots and stuff, as long as the message and the verbiage and the headlines and all of that is still very focused on the accounting and such, to kind of differentiate as well as bring his personality into it because he does incorporate it into his business.
I think that's a very good approach. I'm gonna kind of say the same thing that I did with Melinda. Like, don't get too ahead of yourself right now. You're gonna have a clearer understanding of those kind of suggestions after you kind of really develop your personas and you finish sort of kind of getting through the discovery phase. But to answer, hopefully to answer your question in a very direct way, that stuff I think is up for grabs. Like if you feel strong about, making revisions to those kind of elements and it makes sense and it adds value to the design and the overall brand, I highly recommend you do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember that for everyone here, I think it's a great question that, this is a student project. So remember that, like, you have the freedom to be a bit hypothetical with your your solution, your end product, because what actually is real, like most important in this situation, is that it hopefully is a portfolio piece for you. So kind of keep that in like, your mind when you're doing this. Like if this was a real world situation and you really had to interact with your client and you had to problem solve with your client and you maybe had to compromise with your client a little bit because they just love, I don't know who it was, they just love that funny little photo of them standing on the homepage with their hands crossed, right? Whoever that was, which has made me laugh so much. Like they might be completely married to that, and that is off the table. You are not going to get rid of that on the homepage. It is non-negotiable. Sometimes clients say that, like it's non-negotiable. No, you have to work with this. So luckily, you're a student. This is a student project. So keep that in mind. You can take the liberty to make assumptions based off of your final outcome that works best for your portfolio piece. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. All right. These are great questions. I love this kind of conversation. I really like try to encourage everybody to ask these kind of questions so we can have really productive conversations instead of me just sitting here and just rambling about favorite Tool albums and all this other stuff that I sometimes end up rambling about. So please don't be shy. Please ask these questions. Everybody learns from this kind of dialogue. So don't be shy to ask questions. There really isn't any, remember, what's that old saying? There's no dumb questions or there's no wrong questions, I think is more right. There's no wrong questions. Any other questions about Figma? Those are some really simple, good questions about Figma. Oh. Okay. Before I move on, I was showing you how to do screen grabs, but remember, there's the other way of coming down to your control, this control menu here, and you click on this tool and you go to image video. So here's another thing. Now, also, I'm going to give somebody major kudos if they can help me out with this. I cannot figure this out. This entire time I've been working with Figma, I do not understand why every time I click on this image, can somebody help me figure this out? Every time I go here to insert an image, it always defaults to this one folder. I don't know why the hell, it's annoying as hell. I can't figure out how to fix this. Can somebody help me fix this, please? I don't
Have,
know why it does this.
have you tried using that tool to pull from a different folder? Maybe it just goes to the most recent folder that you have. No, that's
It's
not it.
not, I've tried that, Carl. It's
Okay.
not the recent one. Because watch this. I'll go to download, or let me just go to desktop because I got a screenshot, right? I got a screenshot of this. I'm gonna, right? I just dropped that in from my desktop. Okay. Now watch this. I'm going to come back here. See how it always goes back to this folder? So if somebody can please help me figure out, I would rather it do what you just said, Carl. Go back to the previous folder, or I don't know, like something different. But man, I cannot figure out. I can't figure it out. Just, yeah. I don't know
Online
why.
says online says rename the folder that Figma is targeting. It looks like it's a glitch. It's in the forum Figma, like other
So
people
it's
are
a glitch
asking.
in, so it's a glitch in Figma.
Well, the search that I found, I searched and it says image placement bug opens the same folder instead of the most recent.
Right.
You want me I can send it to you.
Yeah, how do you fix
It,
that?
it has a list of instructions if you want me to like screenshot it and drop it in the chat or something.
Post it
Or I can read it to you.
post it in the Figma announcement. You know that
Okay.
announcement where post it there, please. This has been an
Okay, well,
issue for years, apparently.
okay.
Yeah, it's so weird, Emily. I thought I was like going crazy, or Shaver was messing with my files again. Yeah, I can't, like, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the first time I ever used Figma, and this was the first time I used this tool, and it defaulted to this tool for my Polaris. You see, in 2021, I think this was the first time I used Figma, and it defaulted to this folder the first time I used this. I don't know. So, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So. Anyways, yeah, this is just to show you, like, that's another way of inputting images here. Joshua, yes.
Another solution in case that one doesn't work. Let
Okay,
me see if I can post it here.
okay.
I posted the image in the chat. It's a forum I found when I looked this up, and I have the link here in case you want to access it. You're
Oh,
gonna have to do a little bit
preferences.
of like technical searching and a bit, maybe a bit of coding, or probably not. But as far as I can tell, um, it's just deleting the preferences folder, and it should restart the
Um,
um
okay.
preferences from scratch.
So quit the Figma desktop app, navigate to your libraries, application support, Figma desktop, inside should delete the file label preferences, restart Figma. Okay, cool.
Yeah, in case the other one doesn't work, you can always try this. I don't think it'll be too destructive.
That doesn't sound like that's too disruptive, so I'm gonna save that.
All right.
Good one. Make sure I saved it.
Here's a link to the forum website.
Right on. See, we can all problem solve together.
Yep.
I guess I literally could have done that myself years ago, but you know, sometimes you just get used to things. All right, good discussions. I like these quite a bit. Oh, this is a little advanced for Figma, but you can come in here And let's see here, plugins. You can find plugins for like sitemaps and wireframes. So, whoops. See this? You look, check this out. You can, sometimes they're free. Sitemapper, Mockflow sitemap, you know, there's all kinds of them in here. I would definitely look at which ones have the highest amount of likes, like this one. Coco.ai, AI generated UX personas. Actually, I might add that one. I'm gonna save that. That's pretty cool. So it looks like it's an AI plugin that helps you with UX personas and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. Check that out. Speed up your design process. AI generated UX personas, journey mapping, sitemap, and copywriting. Get out of here. So I'm not gonna run it now but I'm gonna get this one. That's pretty cool. Look at all these. Helps you create user journey or user personas, user journeys, information architecture, chat, infinity mapping. Man, look at all this. Design briefs, discovery questionnaire. Hey, cool. There you go. Here, let me put that in here. Whoops. Everyone, I don't know why. There you go. That's a great plugin. So, cool. Good conversation. All right. No one else has any other things. We're going to, well, let me ask this. We can either spend a little time doing some breakout sessions and discussing our projects with this, or everybody has to promise if we end class early, right now at 2, that you're going to use this time not to go grab a beer somewhere. You're going to use it to do some work.
What if we drink
Promise?
while we're doing our homework?
Yeah. All right.
I promise I'll work.
All right, everybody. Well, I trust everybody. I mean, everybody's an adult. All I can say is that if you don't use the time to be productive, it's only going to hurt you in the long run. There you go. All right. So I know I sound like a dad. I'm going to dad you. Carl, yes.
Can I ask you about mood boards, or is that getting too far ahead?
No, I mean, mood boards is a part of this assignment. So yes,
Okay.
ask away.
Okay, and so I was worried that I was getting too far ahead because I kind of got a little overwhelmed, but I was looking at one of the resources that you gave us. It was godly.website.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, those were all like they were all so full of motion and these crazy movements and really advanced looking stuff. And so I found it hard to use any of it for inspiration because
Sure.
I'm assuming there's like whole teams behind all of that. And also none of it, I mean, none of that was really fitting the tone that I'm trying to go for. But um is there, okay, awards? I was just kind of wondering, I don't know,
Well,
I guess, yeah.
I mean, I personally haven't really used this site. It was one of the ones that Bradford had recommended.
Okay.
I I really like awards. I think awards has it's really easy to do some searching here. So if I go right, corporate websites, modern and clean, it has a really good search engine.
Okay.
So, when it comes to this, like I personally, I like their search engine quite a bit. I mean, I could have just went, right? Here, let's do this. Attorney. I don't know, you might be able to find, they may have something in here that relates to attorneys or something. Or maybe you can just get like attorney. Yeah, look at these, see? You're I don't know if these are going to be very inspiring, but if you're doing attorney, here's, I typed in attorney and I got some, I got some results.
That was my website, by the way, the one where they're all standing there together looking at the camera. They're littered all over their website. I swear they did like a whole photo shoot where they're all looking.
They love themselves. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a really nice site. Um, this is really beautiful. It's beautiful. It's impactful. It's designed really nicely, and it's clean and professional, you know? So yeah, just to kind of go back, like I personally like awards better because I just think that they have a better search engine and you can get very specific like I just did and type in, attorneys or, I'm gonna remember um sandwich shops. I doubt there's any sandwich shops on here, but you never know, right? I don't see any sandwich shops on awards. So, egg sandwich. I mean, who knows? Who was it that had the sandwich shop?
That was me.
Oh, okay, there you go. Look at this. This could be an inspiration for you, Janet, right? I don't know. Maybe not. But again, to kind of go back to awards, I just find that their search engine is far more useful than some of these other things. So if you also notice, I I have I'm very, very organized with the way I live my life, and especially even my browser. And I try to organize things in a way that's very efficient for myself. Design, I don't know if I shared this, design inspiration is also a really good one. Um, I just need to like re-sign up. But if you attorney websites, see this, they also have a good search engine, but it's not as focused on digital. You're going to get like this, a variety of stuff. You're going to get branding work. It's not going to be as specific as awards whenever you need like a website inspiration. But I find design inspiration, like if you're trying to get inspiration for, let's say, your brand or your miscellaneous mood board, this is a really good one to go to just grab stuff from. So those are my favorite. Oh, the infamous handshake. That's right. So cool. Good question.
Was that design inspiration or design spiration, one word?
Oh, good question. Let me pull that one back up. Oh yeah, design inspiration.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so let me drop that in here real quick. There you go. Yeah, design inspiration. And it's real easy to log in. I mean, I think I've logged in. I just log in with my Google account, right? Let's see. And boom, there I am. Yeah, I already had an account here. My collections. See this? It's very similar to Pinterest whenever it comes to these kind of things. So, yeah, you can my saves, right? So, yeah, cool, helpful. All right. Well, then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sign off. Use this time to be productive, work on your project. do research, do your strategy, do some mood board stuff, all that stuff, and send me emails if you got any questions. Reach out to your teams to collaborate. Do not be shy about sending me, again, now that I know that I have an inbox for Canvas, I'll check my Canvas inbox along with my regular email. So you can send me messages on both. All right.
If we didn't do like the best job in the world at the questionnaire thing, will we get marked down for the quality of how well we filled it out?
Well, just update it. Just update it. Yeah. So I haven't graded anything yet, Melinda. So technically, like I haven't given you a grade yet. Go back in it and work on it again. Spend a little more time to polish it back up. And based off, these conversations, maybe you have a little more insight into how to better like update your creative question. Sound good? Cool. And you know, I'm not a difficult instructor. If you go, hey Paul, you know what? I just feel like that I just didn't do the best job based off of some things I've learned and I've done research. Can I do some updates on my creative questionnaire to resubmit it? Sure, I'm cool with that. I don't think I'm not a difficult instructor. Again, like if you feel like, you have a good reason to resubmit something, and I don't feel like that you're trying to do one over on me and you're just not, you're being lazy and you didn't do it. Now you just want to, I'm good. So if you have a good reason for resubmitting it, yeah, just let me know. All right, cool. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, we're going to end class early to give you work time. And you bet. See ya. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You bet.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
See you next week.
You.